Hello and welcome to the Federal. Today we have with us a very eminent, vibrant and a colorful personality. Thamizhachi Thangapandian is an MP from South Chennai constituency, but she is also a writer, an academician, a poet and a theatre person. Thank you for joining us, ma'am.
Vanakkam.
Ma'am, I would like to start from your contributions as MP for the South Chennai constituency. It's a very vast constituency, but I've also been noticing that you're doing some really important works there, like menstrual cup for all women. It's been inaccessible for many women till now. So could you please elaborate on this project?
Yes, this is a project which is actually closer to my heart. I'd like to even term it as my pet project because, as you said, it has been available to only one strata of society. Not many of them were actually aware of it in the first place, as well as were not able to afford it also. So I thought that I should bring this to my constituents, especially for the women who come from the lower strata of society. South Chennai constituency has a long stretch of coastal area, right from Mylapore till this Nainar Kuppam, Cholinganallur. So I have a lot of my sister fisherwomen who I always interact especially during the rainy days, by providing them umbrellas and then sitting and listening to their stories. Whenever, like I talk to them, they always had shared their difficulties during their monthly periods. So I wanted to make their life more easy as well as hygienic. So this is a project which had already been introduced in Kerala, Calicut, and a few, Cochin was the first place I think introduced. And so I got a sponsor also for that, NV Solutions. So with the help of the sponsors, as well as the MCUP project inauguration was done by our First Lady of the State, Anne Durga Anne. So we inaugurated it. And the major hit of the program is I was just able to conduct the awareness camps and provide it through the local councillors. So we have more than 110 councillors have been elected, particularly after DMK government came to the power 2021. So in Chennai city, in my constituencies, almost more than 33 women councillors are there. So I started from my constituency. Now the target is to reach to out to 1,500 beneficiaries. 7 areas have been covered so far, interestingly, and more than 800 beneficiaries have been given awareness about it and supplied also. So this is something I would like you to highlight because its High Time Corporation also has promised that it would take it up further, and probably they may take it up as a pilot project of the government itself.
Okay. So that brings me to my next question. The name itself is very innovative, I thought, Valim Tami. Can you just elaborate on that?
Yes. Valimai is the equivalent word in English, probably prowess. But it doesn't mean just the physical prowess. It's more of your mental state also. So that is another project which I started especially for my constituents. And initially I thought within my constituency, I might expand it further. This project focuses on 2 arenas. One is working on the anemic conditions to improve, that is the health part of it. Another thing is to equip all the sections of the women, right from the students as well as also women of all the age groups, to be very proficient in the language skills. So that way, like to make them to express themselves in simple spoken English or to speak confidently in Tamil, whichever language they choose. So I tie up with Ethiraj College was the major support for us. So we started the campaign, everything kick-started in Ethiraj College initially. And then awareness about this anemia, I conducted a research study also. So with the help of Rotaract Club, as well as a few like-minded NGOs, we are conducting awareness camps, especially about medical camps about how to handle this anemic situation, which is a major concern for almost all the Asian women, I should say.
And I wanted to ask about the Clean Chennai Alliance also. That's a very important environment campaign.
Yeah, that is another key project of which I've been right from the beginning of my tenureship as a member of parliament very keenly interested. We have actually, I have a group of parliamentarians, a group for clean air in Delhi. Certain
So it's
like-minded,
across India.
yeah, it's across India, like-minded members of the parliament who are interested in promoting clean air, the quality of air, as well as who are very conscious about the environmental issues. We have a group, and it is also now supported by Swanity Initiative in Delhi, which is again an NGO group. So all of us would, like meet quite often and discuss probably where is India now standing in the Paris climate issue on the national, international level. And what we decided is how are we going to make it fully practically applicable locally. That is what I'm all the more interested. So I am interested in my South Chennai, especially I have this red flag of Velachery. Even recently, 2 weeks ago, immediately after Deepavali, of all the places in Chennai, Velachery, the air quality is terribly alarming. It is. Right from the beginning, after Manali, Velachery has the red flag. So I wanted to work on it locally. This is the major aim of the whole the parliamentarian group. So to work on the international level, global level. Mr. Gaurav Gogoi has even brought up a private member bill on this air quality. So we are all working on our own level. But my major interest is to work in the local sustainable level. Locally sustainable development, we call it as the LSD, especially in maintaining air quality, addressing issues. So I have chosen up many schools, to name a few, in Vattiambakam, in Ashok Nagar, conducted awareness. I have specially designated this job to an intern who's here majorly helping out only in this project. So our job is to go reach out to schools and to teach them about how to handle this issue locally. And recently we have also introduced the usage of metabins, the recycle all the wastages in a sustainable way. One school in Cholinganallur government school, we have given them this metabins. It's a very interesting concept. You can recycle the bottle, and the concerned, they are from Coimbatore, Metabin who is the NGO, they will provide the money for that. So children are really excited and the fund will go to the school. So one in Cholinganallur in my constituency, Jai Gopal Karodia School in Virukambakam. I have inaugurated that project also.
Ma'am, I know you have very keen interest in issues like gender, environment. So how do they reflect in your work as a member of parliament?
Of course, it means a lot to me. As I say, it's also closer to my heart because I've been working on this issue, voicing out their concern, and then expressing their agony, be it a poet or as a theatre person or as a professor. I've always been with them. So raising issues for transgenders as well as the LGBTQ community has always been my priority. Whenever I've also spoken about giving them, like equal status in all the avenues of the government in the parliament, especially to provide them, like the reservation. It's a very, very important thing. The TN government is also working on it, but national wise also, when the transgender bill came also, we have presented our view that most of the regressive classes should be removed. In fact, Tamil Nadu was the pioneer state. Dr. Kalaignar was the pioneer in bringing out a separate welfare board for transgender, whole of India. And he was the one, I think, who was given the beautiful names to call them. The nomenclature itself has been changed by him as Tirunangai, Tirunambi. And the present government is also providing them even the free travel in the buses without paying money for that. Transgenders are also included in that. So it is a long process because in spite of doing all these things and in spite of the worldwide awareness about their plight, about their conditions and inclusivity, I should say, still India hasn't got that climate of accommodating them as they are. So it's a long road.
Okay. So now it's going to be 5 years since you got elected. What's your reading of the current political scenario? I mean, with elections away in next few months, what do you think will happen?
We are all waiting for this 24 election with, I should say, bated breath, because it's so suffocating. So suffocating, not only, in parliament, not able to voice your opinions, and bills are just being bulldozed and everything is Sanskritized, and even for the days of the parliament commencing being cut short, all these things. But the total atmosphere itself is, I believe the people and the whole country is waiting for a change.
And you think it will happen?
It will definitely happen. The recent, like Karnataka elections are the harbinger of the change. And you can also, even now the 5 state assemblies are going for the elections. Definitely it will bring out all the good news to all the people who are very keen for democracy to be, restored in the fullest sense.
Okay, I was going to ask about the 5 state elections. What do you think will happen? Because people, term it as a mini parliamentary election.
Of course. Even I think BJP also look at it that way. That's why it has been, and it is now also rushing out all the welfare measures. Our Honorable Prime Minister, who haven't even visited once Manipur, you can see him sitting in the stadium cheering up our Indian team. So all these are focused towards the elections only. And imagine our Chief Minister, Honorable Mr. M.K. Stalin, has announced the 1,000 rupees scheme, which was announced in our electoral promises. And he had actually brought it as an act as soon as we could do it. But it was taken up by our Honorable Union Minister, Honorable Amit Shah, and he had announced that same scheme for one of his electoral promises, and so many empty promises. See, they have promised to take the country to a $1 trillion economy and to confiscate all the black money when they brought the demonetization, and to deposit 15 lakhs to each of our account. So all those have gone to win, and now comes the fresh promises, and people are no more fools to believe. So my hunch is that these 5 state assemblies, or the pulse, which actually are bringing the good news, that definitely BJP will be thrown out of the power.
I'm coming to Tamil Nadu, the ADMK BJP split. Do you think it will have any impact in our state as far as the elections are concerned? How do you see the split?
The split itself is, I would say, it's a fiasco. Okay, let's just go by the words or the very strong declaration of respected former Chief Minister, Mr. Edapadi, that it's all done once or all. We are no more joining hands. But look at the way he had spoken recently in the special assembly against our present government for the governor. Then how can you say that you had totally come out of the alliance? Does he think that all of us are fools to believe that it's all, like a strong breakup? I don't think so. It's all a fiasco, probably for the convenience sake to be bossy about acquiring more seats. In that line only, I think. As far as our political scenario is concerned, DMK is very strong in matching their allies based on principles. It's never done alliances of convenience. Even when we had alliance, Dr. Kalangir, when we had alliance with the respected Honorable former Prime Minister Vajpayee, he had his assurance that Rama Temple issue wouldn't be taken up. So we DMK will never compromise, had never compromised also. Even when Peraringer Anna formed an alliance with the communist, our comrade Ramurthy, and this side our respected Rajaji, when somebody, I think, Illustrated Weekly person questioned him, you have right as your rally and you have left in your rally, how would you describe your party? Then he said, my party is the right party who always stands up for right principles. So now we have to fight a common enemy. So our common enemy is the BJP. So DMK is very clear, and this breakups and they are again, aligning together doesn't make anything to us, and it wouldn't create a ripple amidst the Tamil Nadu people also, because they see now everything is a bogus thing. Had you been that much sure about the breakup, how can Edapadi, Mr. Edapadi, when there is a bill for naming of that marine university with the name of the former chief minister, of whom they are supposed to adore, Madam Jayalalitha, not even knowing about, not even having a knowledge about it, how could they just, make a walkout like this? So it's all prior orchestrated fiasco, and it doesn't make any great impacts.
Ma'am, I know you grew up in a very political environment. I mean, you might have heard of lots of things in terms of center-state relationships. Today, there is a lot of, there is a governor issue. There are issues like NEET. Do you think there has been a change from the times of your father? Has it got worse? Has it got better? How would you see the center-state relationships?
Yeah, I would like to say that it has actually become worse to worst. I grew up watching Dr. Kalaignar and my father. My father was a member of the Legislative Council as well as also Legislative Assembly. And it was in fact Kalaignar who was a pioneer in Manila Suyachi, the state federal rights of the state. And in fact, he was the one who formed a committee to study upon it of all the states throughout India. He was the one. And in fact, when he went and addressed as a chief minister, talking about the rights, the Chief Minister's Council, I think I had forgotten the name of the paper. The paper had mentioned, in fact, Tamil Nadu Chief Minister was the only one person who had taken up this issue long ago. The rights of the states is federal rights of the states. So I have seen, there may be ebbs and low. There may be rubbing on the wrong sides. And, several issues, right from, we have had our issues with the, like when Honorable our late Prime Minister, Mr. Nehru was also there, we have our own issues all along. But still, Kalaignar as a statesman was able to facilitate all those things, keeping the major concern of the welfare of Tamil Nadu people as well as the government, not compromising in that. Whenever an agitation was needed, he would agitate. And I have seen my father also burning up all the acts, Satta Irippu Porattama irukkalam, so many other things. DMK has been a part of joining hands whenever on issue based, to cut the story short, on issue based, they have had a very cordial as well as sometimes a rough relationship. But this, after BJP attaining the power, it has become really worse. For example, as you had stated, the issue of the governor. Always Tamil Nadu, of course, we all say that right from Anna's days, governor post is a decorative honorary post. It is not at all necessary. Why do you need a saucer when you drink a saucer? Anna has compared the position of governor as a saucer, as well as we need not need a bird for the goats. So it's been like that. But still, we have always given, like whatever a protocol requires as a position of a governor. But the governor has to, he's not a politically elected representative. That whoever it is, the governorship has to bear it in mind, and that has made all the difference now. The major tiff is all the pending bills. What is the point in just sending again, returning all the bills when you sit and go through and everything has been carefully done? What is the point? Just to, buy some time. And now only after the stern order by the court, they have, I think, bought recently time till December 1st. And concerning NEET also, you must be familiar with the recent biggest joke of the century that even a student, if he has 0 marks, can you believe a union government imposing NEET on states like Tamil Nadu, which has contributed for the medical education, because we are the state which has so many medical colleges. So we always fought preference should be given to our people. So any student who has acquired a mark of 0 in NEET can be eligible for graduation as well as post-graduation. Nowhere in the world such a hilariously foolish, like norm would be set. So the whole NEET itself is, again, I would say, is a big fiasco, which has been brought to curb the opportunities of the socially affected, educationally and socially affected class. So that, according to the social justice, our chief minister as well as our sports minister, Mr. Udayanidhi Stalin, has also taken up this issue, and Tamil Nadu has actually reported the highest number of suicides. More than 43 students have committed suicide. So we can't just take it in a lighter vein. And what is the big deal about the government? See, let the president decide. So what right does he have to hold back the bill? So this has actually made the situation worse. None of us, either parliamentarians or the members of the assemblies or our chief ministers, we always adhere to protocols. We always want to have a very cordial relationship, but not at the cost of the rights of Tamil Nadu people.
Ma'am, as I said in my introduction, you're a very versatile personality. You write poetry, you're an academician. This is something you miss because politics keeps you busy, like theatre.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. I miss terribly my teaching days, because you keep yourself abreast of what's happening in the academic arena, and you tend to meet fresh faces brimming with new ideas, brimming with the lovely imaginations, and that one word good morning will actually gear up, like for the whole day. I too terribly miss my theatre days, my teaching days. Poetry, of course, I wouldn't say I miss the time to sit, but I always have moments to write a poetry or a short story. Even in this Saturday, there was a Terukuthu, a street theatre being played to commemorate the 100 years of Dr. Kalaignar. And I was just sitting and watching, and memory down the lane of my theatre days, the days where we had performed this kuthu on the streets and all, street corners and all. I was just watching a small chap. The chap wanted to watch the whole thing, not sitting on a chair. He just wanted to watch the whole thing sitting on the ground. Everybody, because we all always wanted to make himself comfortable, so always I could see one gentleman came and offered him a chair. I was also thinking like that. Then I found that this chap wanted to enjoy watching the whole thing sitting on the ground. That actually is a very beautiful spark for a short story for me. Many things. And whenever I go and meet women, a woman who came and presented bangles to me when I was canvassing, and an elderly woman who always, do this drishti to me, take care of yourself. So all these provide me moments for poetry or short stories. The only thing is you come back physically tired late in the night. So that's the one problem. Otherwise, writing, it's a part of my second skin. But theatre and teaching, I do miss it terribly because of my stint into mainstream politics.
Yeah, so I know you keep writing poetry. I wanted to ask if your role as an MP or as a politician rather, has it influenced your poetry after you became the politician? Like, has it kind of changed the content or form of your poetry?
I wouldn't say it had changed, but probably I would use the word intensified. I might have been addressing issues, whatever is, because nothing is personal here, everything is political. So be it the Elam issue or now even the Palestine, Gaza, whatever it is. Even recently I wrote an op-ed on it. It's been published in the Indian Express. So I've been always, because I firmly believe that an artist, a writer or a poet should not merely be a witness of what's happening around him. There should be evidences that he had actually responded and he partook in that in his works. I should say in Tamil, Sukumaran நான் ரொம்ப மதிக்கிற ஒரு கவிஞர் சொல்லியிருப்பார். ஒரு எழுத்தாளன் தான் வாழும் காலத்திற்கு சாட்சியாக இல்லாமல் பங்காளியாக இருக்க வேண்டும். அதற்கான அடையாளங்கள் அவன் படைப்பில் புலப்பட வேண்டும். I very strongly believe in that. So now that you are on the ground, you are into the waters, you can see the be to suffering, be to joyous moment, the first hand experience. So my writings get intensified through that, not changed. As a people's person, I was, as I stated, performing theatre or with the students. I've always been with the people. I grew up in a village where anybody can enter in anywhere in our houses. That's the ambience, or that's the ethos in which I grew up. So always I've been growing up in that ethos only. Now I meet them in a close quarters, and I know their true stories, and a lot more to talk and a lot more to represent. My writings have intensified, I should say, especially poetry, especially you can't sleep, like peacefully till the ceasefire is announced in Gaza. So what else can we do? A woman sitting in the southern tip of India, max I can write a poem on it. So it has actually intensified, deepened my writing.
What are you currently working on?
I never have any targets in my writing thing. I don't believe also, but still I do have one. I wanted to bring out an anthology of poems which I wrote about my father, which have been published in the official paper of our DMK Murasuli. Murasuli has always given space to, like I was a daughter of a DMK functionary who was a bereaving daughter, and Kalangir understood it, and it gave spaces. Every year, the commemorative poem which I wrote for my father would be published in that. That's how like as a family, it would understand and it would give space. So I just wanted to respect that. I wanted to cherish that. So I thought, let me just compile those poems and bring out an anthology in his memory. That's a short-term thing that I have in my mind. As far as the long-term goals, I don't believe in that. I just go as and when the flow goes. Even for 10 days, I won't be writing anything. For 2 days, I will write some 10 poems. So I believe the journey, wherever it takes, let me just go with the flow. But this is the immediate goal I have right now in me. And translations also, of course. Some of my poems have been translated by K. Subramanian and published recently, and a few more will be translated by Bharati Harishankar soon. Dr. Indra is also working on translating my Vanapechi, the whole thing as a text. That maybe it's in the pipeline. So this is how it is.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It's been wonderful talking to you.
Pleasure.
As usual, thank you so much.
Pleasure, dear, pleasure.
Subscribe to the Federal's YouTube page for more news and updates.